Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Your Big Music Moment. I'm your host, Chris Sharma, and we come at you every day at 5 p.m. Pacific. Looking forward to a great show. This afternoon, we've got Lauren Davidson from New York. A friend of the stream, has already been on once, and we're really looking forward to hearing from her again. I think she's got some new material, which I'm really excited for. But first, a shout out to Musicians on Call, our partner charity. They bring the healing power of music to people in need. Really cool group of people over there. But now let's go to Lauren. Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Thanks for joining us. I love the background live from Lauren's house. Very cool. Should we just start out with some music and we'll chat afterwards?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna start with something that I wrote to open my live shows.
Nice.
Yeah. Ain't no sight you can't miss the line, 'cause it's wrapped around the corner from New York to California. Ain't no big earthquake to make those windows shake. Like a natural disaster, gonna rattle all the rafters. I got my heels on high. I didn't dress up to stay in tonight. If you wanna sound, gonna have to tear down this house. We getting loud, strung out and coming unwound. Come with all that you got, gonna have to call up the cops. Well, if you want us out, gonna have to tear down this house, yeah. Let me see you shooting chip tequila. Squeeze a little lime, get a little high. This much fun should be a crime. Got the Amsterdam, feel the beat of that kick drum. I got the temptation to put a little crack in the foundation. So raise your drinks and hands up high. We'll talk about it for the rest of our lives. If you wanna sound, gonna have to tear down this house. We getting loud, strung out and coming unwound. Come with all that you got, gonna have to call up the cops. Well, if you want us out, gonna have to tear down this house, yeah. Got my heels on high. We'll talk about it for the rest of our lives. You want us out? Gonna have to tear down this house. We getting loud, strung out and coming on wild. You want us out? Gonna have to tear down this house. We getting loud, strung out and coming unwound. But with all that you got, gonna have to call up the cops. Well, if you want us out, gonna have to tear down this house. Hey, hey.
Nice. That must get him going in the live show.
It's so funny. I wrote it not that long ago and only got to play one live show
Oh, yeah. I was going to say if you can remember back what a
since.
live show it was like.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely so exciting to start a show with that song and everything I wanted it to be when I walked into the right, but I only got to play one show. So now it's just from my home to yours.
Right on. How is it? How is it without? I know that your background is varied, and we'll talk about it in a sec. But what's it like without being on the stage? Are you missing that energy?
I mean, yeah, of course, I've been so fortunate to have platforms like this to still connect with people and share my music. But I mean, I've been on a stage my entire life, and I've been with my band for so long now, and we play a
Right.
lot of shows, throughout the course of the year. So not having the energy of a band with me and not having the energy of a crowd has been, it stinks. It's sad, and I can't wait to get back on stage. But trying to make the best of it because I also want to do it in a way that feels meaningful and feels important, where you still get
Right.
that connection, and of course that's safe for everybody involved.
Yeah. Yeah. Safety is key.
Yeah,
And music is one of those things you can't enjoy if you're feeling anxious or something. It's being
yeah,
free. That freeing
exactly.
feeling comes from knowing everything is cool, copacetic.
Yeah, exactly. So, I do miss it though.
And speaking of the stage and your band and everything, tell me about your origin story and how you got here. Because I know you're also like your genre of music and living in New York. That's kind of a you know not the first obvious thing.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about this last time, that my
Yeah.
father was a singer-songwriter before he had a family and had kids. So music was something that I've been around my entire life, and I've loved my entire life, and I loved singing very, very early on. But I actually bit the theater bug and was performing in community theater at 10 years old, and then went on to do shows through middle school and high school, and went to college for musical theater. So that's what brought me to New York to pursue, a career in Broadway, so to speak.
Right.
And I've done some traveling as well, like through theater. But while I was in New York, always loving singing, I started singing with bands as like a side job, so to speak, and just love the energy of live music in that
Right.
way, and being in a club in New York with a band. And it was electric.
Yeah.
And I started having these ideas for my own songs, and then started writing my own songs. And for me, it was just about telling stories, which never really used to only be country music, even though it's a big underlying factor of country music from the very beginning, is that it tells a story. But now I kind of feel like a lot of music has lost that element, or as music
Yeah.
progresses, my music kind of just fit under that country music umbrella. So I kind of do it my way with this little New York, flair. It's not your traditional country music at all. It just fits under that umbrella.
Got it. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it is, it all, and it fits together too, which is awesome. Does it?
Thank you.
And I know last time we talked a little bit about like the logistics of like if you're from stage, from the where your diaphragm sits and how you sing as a theater actor, but in
Yeah,
general, also, what we talked about with a couple other artists was, there's your music is something that it's a performance. It's like playing a sport in some ways, and there's a lot of
absolutely.
discipline involved. This one involved in the making of music just as a technician, and then also the making of music. The creative process is still something you have to have discipline. You have to start, finish. How do you organize your
Oh,
thoughts? And
yeah.
how did that the theater and that kind of fine arts focus in education help? Did that help that discipline
I
or
honestly, I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure it did, because everything you learn, you kind of take with
right?
you, and it helps progress you in some way. But I would say, like, off the top of my head, like, I don't really think that I took anything from theater, except for the love and experience of the stage, first of all, and also just wanting to tell stories. But I actually just
Right.
always felt more connected to telling my own stories than I
Oh,
ever felt
interesting.
playing
Right.
someone else and telling their stories. But for me, I've just always loved music, and I loved storytelling music. So I think that that has had a bigger influence in
Got
my
it.
songwriting and creative process versus being an actor.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
I I was never like one of those like people who like love to listen to theater recordings. I mean, when I was really little, like I loved Les
Right.
Mis, and I loved Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and I had a
Yeah.
few shows here and there as I got older that I liked to listen to sometimes. But I wasn't one of those kids that was like listening to these Broadway albums. I was listening
Right.
to Billy Joel and Carole King and Fleetwood Mac. Like, I just always
Nice.
loved music. So it kind of,
Got it.
I feel like I was always destined to find this path. It just took me a little longer to get there.
Wow, that's interesting, and I guess it's a testimony to your. You stick with your passions, and
Yeah, absolutely.
it's interesting. It sounds like you knew what they were from when you were a kid too,
Yeah, I think so.
and, or at least what direction they were leaning.
Even as a theater actor, I always loved singing first. Like, I quit playing piano because I remember my piano teacher was like also my voice teacher. And as piano was getting harder, it was like, we're going to have to go 2 weeks in a row of piano lessons, and then do a week of voice lessons, and then 2 weeks of piano. And I was like, oh,
Right.
never mind. I
Right.
want to sing. What do you mean I
Right.
can't sing for 2 weeks? And so I've always loved singing. That was always a passion of mine.
Awesome. Well, speaking of which, what do you have for us next?
Yeah, I'm actually, since we've been talking about storytelling a lot, I'm going to play a song that I wrote with my father. It's called To the Moon and Back.
Oh, cool. To the moon and back. Perfect.
Yeah. I've been thinking about you, baby. Do you ever think of me? It's driving me crazy. Wondering if we'll ever be in the digging of the morning, in the dark of the night. I can hear your echo calling, but it just doesn't feel right. I can love you to the moon and back, to the moon and back. Will you follow me? I can love you to the moon and back, to the moon and back. Come along with me. I've been talking about you lately. Hey, do you talk about me too? Remember when we stay up all night, dreaming about the things we do? I can love you to the moon and back, to the moon and back. Will you follow me? I can love you to the moon and back, to the moon and back. Come along with me. When you said goodbye, you took a piece of me with you. You know it's true, and I can't remember why. Broke my heart in two. Is the way you've been to do? 'Cause I can love you, I can love you, I can love you to the moon and back, to the moon and back. Will you follow me? I can love you to the moon and back, to the moon and back. Come along with me. I can love you to the moon and back, to the moon and back. Come along with me. Yay.
Right on. I love that one.
Thank you.
That's I love the. Did your dad play the backing track?
No, he didn't. That's actually
Ah,
my guitar player, Dave. But I don't play guitar very well, but he taught me to play really basic chords like when I was in high school, and I kind of just always grew on those chords. Like I don't play bar chords or anything fancy, but I couldn't sleep one night and I was like strumming the chords to this song and singing a melody, which we ended up taking the next day, finishing the song and adding a really cool bridge to it.
yeah, that's great. It's really very passionate. I love the hook too. You can listen to it forever. Um,
Thank you.
I kind of interrupted you. I think we're going to play two in a row, but
Oh, okay.
yeah. So sorry about that. I just
Yeah, no
want to
worries.
talk about the song for a sec.
Yeah, so I actually played this song last time, but I wanted to play it again because it's been a minute for me. And especially in these times where things are uncertain, we just kind of have to take things day by day and soak up every second. So this is soaking up every second. Yeah, it's easy to cry. It's easy to take it. Sometimes it's so hard to follow the light. You want it so bad, all up to win. I don't mind coming in. I've God, I'll stop here in my tracks. I won't wish away my life, waste away my time. I just wanna make the most where I'm headed. Soaking up every second. Take a picture of the moon, oh, waiting on the sun. Make the best of this moment, stay conditions. Leave it up to the stars. Tomorrow might come and break my heart, but tomorrow I won't fall apart. When life gets hard, I've been waiting at the stage. When the train comes, I ain't gonna take it. Life is wrong, set in motion. But if not, I'll stop here in my tracks. I won't push away my life, waste away my time. I just wanna make the most of where I'm headed. No, I don't need to go any faster. And I may not have all the answers. I won't wish away my life, waste away my time. I just wanna make the most out where I'm headed. I've been waiting at the station. When the train comes, I ain't gonna take it. Like a soul set in motion. But I'm gonna stop it in my tracks. I won't wish away my life, waste away my time. I just wanna make the most out where I'm headed. I'm soaking up every second. I'm soaking up every second. I'm soaking up every second.
Wow, that's great. The power of the moment. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it
Yeah,
really is. It's so
yeah,
funny. Somebody said it the other day, well, a friend of mine, and she was just like, we were kind of forced to slow down a little bit. And that's kind of what that
yeah,
song, meant, finding those moments in the hard times or in the big crazy times and just kind of taking it all in. But great
yeah.
perspective for sure.
There's a lot of power in the moment, and I think that that's the one thing that making music and enjoying it is one of those things that happens viscerally and happens. It's like playing sports too. It's just, you're
Yeah,
right there, and there's nowhere else you can be and
I
also be
love that.
doing that. And
Yeah, I love
so
that.
that's amazing, and it's cool of you to kind of write a song about that. It's almost meta in a way.
Yeah, I mean,
That.
for me too, was it we I when I walked into the right, I was really busy. It was summertime and I play a lot of shows normally, especially in the summer, and I was just like I kind of felt myself wishing time away and looking forward to the next thing and to the next thing. Meanwhile, one of those things that I had been wishing and waiting for, I kind of
Mm-hmm.
wasn't taking it in as it was happening to me. And so that song kind of was my reminder, and ever since we wrote it, I really had, put myself in that, take this in as it's happening to you right now. You will never get this moment back.
Right.
So take this moment in right here, right now, in everything, on stage, off stage.
Yeah.
And it's been a little bit of light for me for sure.
That's very powerful. What did you say? You were wishing the time away,
Yeah,
and
I
that
was
would
wishing
and
time
that's not the
away.
right end, right? Why would you do that? This is You've only got
No,
so much of it. Yeah.
I know. I was like, I can't wait for this show, or I can't wait for fall. I can't wait for Christmas.
Right.
And I wasn't soaking in those moments with people as they were happening.
Right. Right. And you're in a moment that you had wished would come earlier.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Exactly. So it was kind of crazy. And so, I mean, I'm thankful that I had the realization
Yeah.
and put it in the song, but so mostly just had the realization. So I hope it's a little reminder to
That's
everyone
great.
out there as well to kind of take it in as it's happening to you.
Yeah. That's the function of music. Is it
Yeah,
reminds us, like poetry or short story or any other
absolutely.
art forms. It reminds you of the things that you probably knew when you came into this world, but have been slowly forgetting.
Yeah. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes. Right. Which, yeah, the all. So what do you have coming up? I know you've been doing some work, so I think we might hear
Yeah.
we might hear
Yeah.
something. So,
So
but
I told you last time, because I think last time I was with you, I had just released a song as well. But I'm releasing an EP this year. It's called Love Ain't Fair, which I released that title track in February, and then the second song, Compass, back in May. And then I just released a couple of weeks ago the third single off of this Love Ain't Fair EP, which is called Find Me. And I co-produced this track with Dave Rico and Christian Castro. Most of the songs on the project, or all the songs so far, the three of us co-produced together,
nice.
which has been really cool. It's a first for me to get in the studio and really just like craft songs
Right.
in a production from the beginning, from even just songwriting to demo to the final production. And this one specifically I just love because it's a little more pop produced than anything I had done before, and we had so much fun layering different sounds and different vocals, which is something that I really hadn't really ever played with before.
Wow.
So from the
Right.
production side, it was really cool. And then also through the story of the song is this strength and empowerment. So it's been really fun to release this music in this time of not playing shows and kind of see how people connect to music and getting to share music in different ways than from a stage.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's great, and it's cool. I always think the artist, you're produce if you're singing it, you're producing it, so you might as well have a say. You need to have a say in the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I
You
always
know.
have had like a little say. I say that, I've always had
Yeah.
final word, so to speak,
Right.
but sometimes, I just trusted people that I work with creatively, which I still do,
Right.
but it was just like, oh, like
Yeah.
take a pass at it and then like let's hear, and then it was like, oh, that's awesome. But I was in the room and a part of the process,
Good.
from songwriting to song production. So I
Right.
think that it was just an extra step and an extra layer of something that I haven't done in the past.
Great.
And it was really cool to also be able to do it kind of secretly towards the tail end of last year, not really let anybody know we were doing it, and kind of
Right.
just take the time to get music to feel right. And once a song felt ready, then it was like, okay,
Yes.
I'll release this song, as opposed
The,
to the pressure of, oh my God, I need to finish a song right now and
yeah.
release it, which has happened in the past. I'm not even going to lie.
The song will
So
tell you when it's done.
exactly. And kind of just feeling more at ease through the whole
Yeah.
process, and also a little more in depth creatively, has been really cool.
Nice. Well, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to hear it.
Cool. This is called Find Me. Ran into an old friend I hadn't seen since a past life. Guess we just lost touch. We didn't talk much, time flies. After a couple drinks, we didn't skip a beat. Picked up where we left off back before you found me. Oh, she's a little bit younger, got the hunger that I lost. When I tell her what you did, she said, forget him, it's his loss. So I bought another round, bartender pours one shot. Now I'm drinking all alone, someone that I forgot. Didn't know I was so far gone, so you were gone and out of sync. I knew it, all I need was losing you to find me. Find me, find me, find me. Find me, find me, find me. When we were together, I was never myself. Trying to be something that I wasn't. You want something else. So now I'm back to being who I always was. It only took you leaving to see what I become. Didn't know I was so far gone, so you were gone and out of sync. I knew it, all I did was losing you to find me. twice. Losing you to find me. Find me, find me, find me. Find me, find me, find me. Didn't know I was so far gone. You were gone and out of sight. Who knew it all I need was losing you too. Losing you too. Losing you too. Find me.
Great. What an awesome way to finish. Cool
Thank
track.
you.
Rocking.
Thanks.
Got
Yeah.
some you got some lead guitars in there. How sweet.
I know, it's
that
awesome.
takes it up a notch.
I wanted to play the song, especially like in the first couple of weeks of releasing it, the way that I intended people to hear it. So anyone that
Right.
hasn't heard it before, I didn't want them to hear
Right.
it just acoustic. I wanted them to hear the energy
Totally.
and on some of those really cool guitar lines and vocal lines.
Absolutely.
You know?
And it's the puzzle you guys work so hard to put together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, beautiful. Hey, well, thanks so much for
Thanks so much.
joining us as always.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
This was so great.
We'll do it. I think, it'll be a regular thing. And,
love that.
we got a lot of great response from last time, so I'm sure this will be the same. And
Hey, thank you.
we'll absolutely be in touch and be well. Thanks so much,
You
Lauren.
too. Bye.
Bye. The incomparable Lauren Davis. Really amazing artist and someone who has, as a writer and a performer, kind of is a holistic message. And I think what she tells us about telling a story is very important. And artists, in all times, but especially these, they'll tell us stories that matter. And I think that, it's incumbent upon us to listen, and where appropriate, we can use that to enhance our lives. And so thank you to all the musicians out there making music for us. Thanks to Musicians on Call, bringing the power of music to heal folks. And as always, Big Music stands with Black Lives Matter, and you can check our socials out to see what we're doing to be a positive part of a just future. So thanks, everybody, and as always, live to listen.